I'm Mabel Jong, and you're watching continuing coverage of the World Healthcare Congress. And this morning, I'm so pleased to have my annual check-in with Gary Ahlquist, who is Senior Vice President and Partner at Strategy & Good morning.
Thank you. Hi, Mabel.
Well, last time we checked in, Strategy & was really getting a feel of the land and,
Yes.
and really establishing its role in this whole healthcare scene. How's it going?
It's going great. We are enjoying being part of PwC, which is a very large global firm. We are small relative to PwC, but we bring some understanding and work with clients that is different from what they did. And together it's really been powerful. For example, I was just on the panel quoting deal statistics. They know everything that's going on about every deal in healthcare, and so are able to keep track of these trends and what's happening and with behavioral health acquisitions and so on. And so I'm finding it a bit like a kid in a candy store.
Yes, of course, and you certainly are on the front lines of the change that is going on.
We try to be. We try to be. We're very fortunate, and then the clients who call us generally have very knotty problems about what to do with the future in this uncertain landscape that we're navigating here. And so we have the privilege of working on some really new kind of innovative problems that are hard to solve, and that's what is fun for us.
Give me an example of one of those problems.
Well, consumer engagement. There's a look, and we believe, I'll get to what I think an answer might be in a minute, that the system is so fragmented. And we've talked about bundles, I think, in the past, you and I.
Yes.
And we continue to believe that there's a way through the system using bundles that is not only a better way to aggregate care and deliver it from a physician and nursing and clinical standpoint, but also much easier for consumers to understand. Steve Forbes talked about in our panel Lasik surgery, which is an example which has been used for a long time. It is real surgery. There's a diagnosis, there's a treatment, there's aftercare. And it is done in effect as a bundle, a single price, either by eye or for both eyes, and guaranteed. I actually had Lasik surgery done a long time ago, and one eye wasn't all the way to 20/20, and the surgeon said, come back, we'll do it again on me, which is our typical consumer experience, which is not what we have when we engage the system now. So we're trying to propagate this notion of bundles, a strong form of bundles that is consumer engageable, if that's a term, has a price on it which we can understand. The delivery system can coalesce and integrate to deliver that, and it eliminates much of the back office functions because we go from 160,000 items on an ICD-10 code to perhaps 80 or 100 bundles of what we consume as the country.
Okay, how close are we to valuing some of these procedures and having that consistent across the board?
Yeah, good question. The trick, the secret sauce in this is risk adjustment, which sounds like an arcane term, although we've been doing risk adjustment. Insurers do it all the time. The government does it. CMS does it with DRGs. If you and I and 3 other people we know needed a hip replacement, we might say there are 4 categories of such folks. You and I, you look like you work out, otherwise healthy, never had a hip replacement. We would be a simple procedure. That might be category 1. Category 4 might be an obese, 55-year-old diabetic who's having a redo because it's infected. Very complicated. If we can isolate the factors which drive the cost of that category 1, 2, 3, and 4 in a fairly tight band, we can put a price on it. It's no different in some sense than saying I want the base car or I want it loaded. We know that, it's put on the shelf, we can understand it. As we do it today, of course, it's not clear to us, but if we do it in this risk-adjusted way, we think it levels the playing field for the system and it makes it more transparent for all of us.
Okay. Will it be difficult to have that price for some of the things that you're talking about be what it is in Massachusetts to what it is in California, where they vary widely and wildly?
They do today. One of the beauties of bundles is that we are able to reduce the variance of cost by, in effect, standardizing the care delivery part of it. To say if that category 1 hip replacement, there's a protocol we will use, and there's some rehab after. Category 4 might have 6 months of rehab instead of 6 weeks of rehab and so on, but we can articulate that and say to the consumer, this is what it's going to cost, and that will take a while. That will to standardize from Massachusetts to California, but if we could start somewhere in Ohio or in Chicago and propagate it out, maybe the state of Illinois has a little more consistency, and then it goes from there.
Okay, so when we talk about a while, we're already 5 years into the ACA being passed.
Yes.
Some say that a lot's been done, others say it's opened up a whole another area of issues. So where do you see us in this process?
Yeah, I'd say might say we're in phase 2. Phase 1 was a set of responses to the legislation and the changes in the environment that by most of the players, certainly insurers and delivery systems, we might have called a series of no regret moves. So we know we needed to reduce some costs. We know we needed to invest in technology to be able to wire the system and have electronic records, as a couple of examples. The 3 or 4 years have gone by with those moves, and now people are feeling like there's a little less uncertainty about the future. This is here to stay, I guess, until we hear from the Supreme Court.
Right.
But let's assume it's here to stay. Now we need to start making bigger bets about consolidation, about integration with our physicians, about a bundle model that we're going to invest in. And so we're seeing phase 2 where more bold moves, more future-looking moves than sort of a series of no-regret moves, which is exciting, but daunting for these folks who are making these $100, $200, $300 million investments.
Right. Now, Gary, we have different takeaways from you every year. What is the key one you want to leave people with this year?
The key one now, and if we continue the phase 2 discussion or idea, is that you will see more certainty as a consumer in what the offering is from your traditional players, but watch for disruption. So we've seen Walmart is, for example, said they're going to enter the industry. They've already entered the industry, and we all know and love Walmart in different ways. One thing we know about them is they like to disrupt. I tell my clients 8 years ago, Walmart's grocery revenue was 0. Today it's half or more of their revenue. Today healthcare is a small percentage of their revenue. What will it be in the future, and what will they do to disrupt? So it's going to be better for you as a consumer, but it's going to be even more interesting in the future as disruption occurs.
All right. Exciting things to look for.
Very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Good to see you.
And I've been speaking with Gary Ahlquist. I'm Mabel Jong. Thanks for watching.